The Companies and Intellectual Properties Commission, the CIPC, has been sending out final reminders for beneficial ownership. If you have received this email and you've ignored it, you need to pay close attention to this video. The deadlines in those emails are very real and the consequences are real too. You might be asking yourself, so what is this beneficial ownership and why are we suddenly getting these emails from CIPC? Well, stick around. In this video, we're going to break it down, what it is, why it matters, and what you can do to become compliant. One of the features that are going to be coming out going forward is that if you're not compliant, your business will be publicly flagged and banks and other institutions are going to be looking at your CIPC compliance going forward. So stick around and let's break it down. If you are a director of a company or a member of a closed corporation, you've likely received these notices. And you will know that there's some deadlines in there and some consequences. They make reference to administrative penalties, so a fine, or even criminal prosecution. These are not suggestions, these are actually real. So what actually happened is since May 2023, the law changed and all companies must declare who their beneficial owners are. And CIPC has been sending reminders and we are now at the final notice stage for many businesses, and your business is one of them. Put simply, South Africa is aligning with global standards around fighting corruption, money laundering, and terrorist financing. CIPC needs to know everyone who owns and controls every company in South Africa. The background is that the grey listing of South Africa triggered a series of events that required us to take steps to respond to the grey listing. And in so doing, we started tightening rules. And one of the major things is that we need to know who actually owns and controls companies in South Africa. A beneficial owner is a natural person, an actual human being with bones, blood, and skin. And this is somebody who ultimately controls or owns the company. And the threshold is at least 5% ownership in a company or significant control over voting rights or director appointments. So a few years ago, we attended some events where the Financial Action Task Force was workshopping these ideas to professionals such as myself. And one of the issues was in the crowd, or some of the people that we were mingling with, were representing banks. I won't name the banks, but we're representing some international banks. And the Financial Action Task Force at the time was trying to say they needed to know ultimately who owned that bank. And these banks would have layers and layers of ownership going from a bank into another company owned by trusts, which is owned by another trust. And the beneficiaries of those trusts are nominees who represent the actual people who are benefiting. So there are a lot of layers that are put in place to protect the identity of certain individuals for various reasons. But when it comes to you and your company, they just want to know who actually owns and controls your company. And you'll start seeing a lot of this reporting if you're purchasing property or you're renting out property. They'll be asking you certain questions. Who actually is going to be living here? Are you connected to any political figures, etc.? They're really trying to get to know who's who, who's doing what, and where. So a beneficial owner, for your information here, is the person who actually owns your business. So let's break it down step by step. What's going to happen if you ignore notices from CIPC? You're currently at the stage where they've sent you a reminder, and that final reminder comes with a short deadline of 7 business days. If you do nothing and don't respond to that reminder, you are then sent with a formal compliance notice. A formal compliance notice is a serious legal document that basically flags your company. And you get 15 business days to respond. And if you do nothing, After those 15 business days, you are then publicly flagged as non-compliant. What this means is that anyone, a bank, an investor, a client, they can pull your information on CIPC and see that you're non-compliant. So this could start affecting new business coming in. In addition to this, CIPC has the power to take you to court. They can issue you a fine, which is up to 10% of your business's revenue. So if you make R1 million a year, they can fine you 100,000 Rand. So 10% of your business's revenue. In addition to that, you can face criminal charges. You can go into prison 6 months or something of that nature. So that's what's going to happen if you don't respond to this notice. If you then decide to take action and file your beneficial ownership declaration, here are two paths for you. The first path, you can do it yourself. If you choose to do it yourself, you'll need to make sure that you gather all the information that they require. That's going to be full names of shareholders or beneficial owners, ID numbers, passport certificates, contact information, date of birth, phone number, email address, etc. Once you've gathered all that information, you're going to prepare the documents. They're going to require an up-to-date securities register. They're going to require a signed director's resolution or a mandate to file this declaration. If you've gotten all that information, you log on to CIPC, you navigate through the beneficial ownership portal, and you go through the step-by-step guidelines. The challenge with doing it yourself is that the CIPC portal can be confusing and time-consuming. And if you have a complex ownership structure, making a mistake is going to be very easy. So remember, it's important that if it's a simple business with 1 or 2 shareholders, you probably can compile it yourself. Just make sure you read through all the documentation and that you choose the right categories or the right type of business that you have, and how you classify your business is going to be important as you do your filing. And just double check everything to make sure you don't make any mistakes. If you make any mistakes, they could have serious legal consequences. If you find that doing this is too time consuming for you and you're getting stuck, the second option is available to you. You can recruit a professional to do the submission for you. At Chikambure, as registered tax practitioners and professional accountants, we can help you with this. We follow a simple 3-step process. Step number 1, information gathering. We gather your information by sending you a checklist of the documents that we need from you. Once we receive those, we go through the verification step, making sure that all your documents are correct and they line up with what is on file with CIPC. Then the final step is we handle the submission for you, navigating on CIPC, and at the end, we issue you with your beneficial ownership certificate to make sure that your compliance is registered and you have proof. If you are interested in recruiting us to help you with this process, please click the link in the description. And if you mention that you watched this video, we will prioritize your query. Okay, let's recap. These notices are real. They're going to be escalating over time. You get 7 business days and then 15 business days, after which your company becomes non-compliant, and there will be a public display of this, which will be available to banks, investors, institutions, and clients. And further to that, there may be administrative penalties of up to 10% of your revenue. Or you may get criminal prosecution where you may land yourself in prison. So it's important that you take care of this and you handle this as soon as possible. I hope you found that video useful. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so other entrepreneurs and business owners just like you can find this content. I'll see you guys in the next one.